Hey guys, it's me again. So this is my third video and we are going to be talking about how to read in information from the user. So let's just kind of dive right in. So I have something already kind of set up here. I'm going to explain it line by line. So the first thing here, I declared two strings and they are delineated by this comma. This comma separates the name. So I have a data type string, and then we have first name is one variable. This comma, the compiler knows that I'm trying to declare two variables, and it knows that the comma is not part of the name of a variable. So I have a named variable of first nm, first name, and then I have a variable last name. The entire purpose of this program, we're going to read in two strings, first name and last name, and then we're going to print them out and as first name and last name in a super cool way. So system.console.writeLine, we're going to write out hello, welcome. And you've seen this function before. This is normal. We know that this function will print out hello, welcome, and then it'll print out a new line character. And it automatically does that for us. So what does system.console.write do? Well, let's just go ahead and go take a look at it. I'm going to comment this out. Let's just take a look at what that does do for us, because it's worth noting that these two functions are different. So I just got two warnings, no big deal. So it prints out hello, welcome. There's a new line there, we can see that, but then it prints out what is your first name, and we're still on the same line. That's because system.console.write does not print out a new line character afterwards unless you manually enter it yourself. This is useful because our system.console.read function right here, this function specifically does not, this function reads until, or this method reads in whatever the input is until the user presses enter, the enter key. That's important because if you had printed a new line here and then you did this function, it'll screw up your it'll screw up your read, and it'll read in a bunch of white space potentially, or it could read in or it could get caught in that actual function, and it wouldn't continue on through all your code. So that's worth noting. But for this specific example, sorry guys, we're going to be using system.console.readLine because we need to read, because we're reading a string here, we need to get the entirety of the line, because you could read, .read will only read in like one character or one integer, but it won't read in multiple. Read line is going to get everything that the user enters, such as McLean, all those characters, it'll get all of them. So I'm going to do that, and then after I read this, I want to print out a new line because of the fact that I don't want to get caught in this read line with the whole potential for getting screwed up with the enter key. So I'm going to print out a new line, and then I print out what is your last name. That also helps make it look nicer when you're on the actual screen. And then I'm going to read, not just read, but read line, and I'm setting it equal to last name here because that's what I want that string to be equal to whatever the user enters for last name. And then this is something that's kind of cool. We have a system console write line, and I put a money sign here, which is going to kind of allow us to do something special here. I start my normal kind of quotation marks, your full name is, and then you see that we used these fancy little bracket things, and I have the name of my variable, first nm. And what that does by putting those brackets around the first nm, that's going to tell it that I want to print out the value of that variable. So it's going to print out whatever the value of first name is, which we read in that the user entered what their first name is, so it'll print out that, and then it'll also print out their last name. And then I end it. So let's just go right to the console and let's see how this works. No errors. So hello, welcome, what's your first name? McLean. Enter. Then it gets that new line. I didn't get caught there, which is very good. And then we have my last name, Kefler. Your full name is McLean Kefler, and it got the new line because of our right line function automatically. So that's pretty cool and all, but what's another way? There's plenty of other ways to do this print statement. Just gonna show you because they're so easy. You can do it the following way here. Give me a second here. So instead of you don't bother putting the money sign here. Money. Okay, so you put a 0 here, and you can put a 1 here. And what this does, this is called indexing, and an index always starts at 0 whenever you're dealing with an index in a compiler. It always starts at 0. So I end my quotation marks, I put a comma, okay, and then I type the variable name, first name. So what does this do? This says that we're printing out whatever is stored at, like we were printing out earlier, we were printing out what was at the value of first name here within this brackets. Now we're printing out whatever is at the value of index 0. Well, index 0 starts after the first comma. So index 0 is equal to what's in between these two commas, which is first name. So index 0 is equal to first name, which is what we read in. And then, so now we have index 1, and we want that to be equal to last name. So this is going to do essentially the same thing, just in a different way. Just to show you guys kind of some of the things you can do here with the C# compiler. Still working just fine. Full name is McLean Kefler, exact same thing. So there's just two ways to print out whatever you want to print out. You can also do the same thing. This could be 1 and 0, or it doesn't have to be necessarily in order. So you could print out essentially long statements of information, however you want to do it, and all those things would work. So in the next video, we're going to be talking more about C#. We'll get into we might work with a little more console, getting the different kinds of read functions. But read line, for the most part, will do everything you guys need it to. What else here? We're going to talk about arrays at some point here. And but yeah, don't forget to subscribe and watch my next video. Thanks, guys.